Welcome to episode 74 of the Mastering Local Marketing Podcast. My name is Matt Hansen. As a small business owner, have you noticed that customers light up more about an experience than a product on a shelf? That's the experience effect, the idea that people value memories, feelings, and interactions over material purchases. In today's competitive market, that shift is shaping how consumers decide where to spend their money. In this episode, we'll explore the psychology behind the experience effect and why it matters for your business. You'll hear real-world examples of businesses winning by creating unforgettable moments. We'll also share strategies you can apply right now to transform ordinary transactions into more memorable experiences that build loyalty and spark referrals. If you want to stand out in a crowded market, this episode will show you how to sell more products. You'll sell moments customers can't forget. And eventually I'll learn how to talk after 74 episodes on a podcast. So welcome to the podcast. I've got Ozzy back for episode 74. Thanks for joining us for 2 episodes. It's great to have you.
Of course. Glad to be here.
So Ozzy is, if you didn't listen to the last podcast, she is working in social media and is amazing, has run multiple campaigns, knows a lot about social and what works and what doesn't. But today we're talking about experiences, and
Yes.
I have to talk about this. So last weekend, I took my kids to an event, and my son has been saying for a while, I want to go to a baseball game, and summer had come and gone, and now now it's September, and we ended up getting tickets for this team called the Tri-City Chili Peppers.
Yes.
And the Tri-City Chili Peppers I've never heard of. And somebody said, well, they're kind of like the Savannah Bananas. And I went, okay, well, I've heard of them. And we were talking before the show today. And you said, well, I've heard of the bananas. I haven't heard of the chili peppers. So I heard about it, and I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. But we had 4 tickets to this. We're sitting in the lawn outside. We don't have seats. I'm thinking, okay, is this going to be exciting? What is this all about? So we show up, and I do a little bit of research on it. And the Tri-City Chili Peppers, when they play a game, they play the first half of the game in normal daylight, under the lights, whatever it may be. And they do all of these little things where they interact with the fans, and they'll do contests and all this other stuff. They had this little girl, and she had to pull a card from 3 different cards, and she pulled the reverse card. So then they had to run the bases backwards when they got a hit.
Which
so
is
instead
so
of,
cool.
Right, and so they went from home to third to second to first and so forth. There was another time where the foul lines didn't matter for an entire inning. I think they scored like 7 runs that inning because they're hitting foul balls and people are running all over the place. And it was just utter chaos, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's an interesting way to play a game. But then they throw in the fact that it seems like the whole thing is a concert. So in normal sports, when a player walks up, they have their song, but then they turn the music off. No, here they're playing like electronic music, and there's strobe lights, and there's light. And I didn't know where to look. And at one point, I remember there was a home run probably 30, 40 feet in front of me. I didn't even see it hit because there's so many different things going on in this environment. So about halfway through the game, they call intermission. It's 30 minutes, and they go disappear back into the dugout. I'm like, okay, what? They go into change is what they do. They go into change, and they put fluorescent jerseys on.
Right.
They come back out. They count down from 10 to 1 and 0, and they turn all the lights off. Then they turn on black light. So everything is glowing at this point, and then they continue the baseball game.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here and I'm watching this thing, and I see glow-in-the-dark players. I see a glow-in-the-dark baseball flying all over the place.
Yeah.
The bats are pink, so they're glowing. The bases are pink, they're glowing. The lines on the field are glowing. Everything is glowing, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, as a former baseball player, like, how are you guys doing this, right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting to watch all of this, but then, mind you, we're sitting in the outfield, again, on a blanket, on the grass. Right. At the end of the 4th inning, they go, okay, now each team brings out one member, and they have 45 seconds to hit as many home runs as they can hit, and they count as runs. So next thing I know, there are baseballs flying all over the place, all around me. There's kids everywhere. My kids are running around trying to grab a ball. I mean, they were coming, you'd see one land and then 2 seconds later, another one was landing next to you. So you literally had to watch and make sure you weren't going to get hit. But I walked out of there and I went, what did I just see? Right. And I showed you the video.
Yes.
My kids are dancing to an old Darude song as the game is going on. And it was just the craziest experience I've ever experienced for a baseball game.
Honestly, I'm not an avid or any type of sports fan. I'll watch something if it's on and there's no way I can change it. But the videos that you showed me, actually, I would have loved to be there.
Right.
I would have loved to be there. It feels like fun. It feels like a concert and there's like a game going on.
Yeah.
It's so interactive for starters.
Yeah.
It's just cool. And I think that's like an amazing experience overall.
Well, the funny thing about it was down in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And a couple, like 2 blocks over is an amphitheater, and there was a concert going on. So they have this announcer through the whole thing, and he's on the field, and he's screaming and, getting you all hyped up. He was literally trying to drown out the concert. So we had this battle going back and forth. Honestly, greatest experience ever. I mean, I will tell people about that experience for a long time. Like, I don't take a bunch of pictures and videos on my phone a lot of the time, but I was snapping photos and shooting videos through that entire thing, and it's an experience that's literally going to sit with me for a long time.
Yeah.
Jim and I talk a lot about sports because obviously he owns a sports network. We talked about the Bears and how, as I told everyone, they were going to disappoint us again. But you go to a game, and that's an experience, but it's a normal experience.
Yes.
So I've been to plenty of baseball games, White Sox, Cubs, Blackhawks, Chicago Bears, you name it, right? And they all kind of are all the same.
Yeah.
Unless you had something drastically happen, right? Like the Bears actually win. Sorry. But, it's all about an experience. So I've gone to one Chili Peppers game, and anyone that ever says Chili Peppers to me moving forward, I'll be like, you have got to go see that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't get that same feeling when somebody says the White Sox or the Cubs. I don't say, oh, you've got to go see Wrigley. I mean, it's great, but I didn't get the same experience. So what I want to say today is we, as marketers, have to realize that, again, we're selling products and services, but there's an experience component to it.
Yes.
And if we don't focus on the experience component of it, we're just another company.
Yes, yes.
Right? So is there, from your personal experience, is there a certain company that has created an experience for you in your shopping that you continually go back for because you can't buy the experience somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, like we were talking about in the last episode, I'm an avid coffee drinker. I have to have it once a day, and I love my drive-through Dunkins, right? Like I love those, but recently, in the role that I work in, a lot of times it's remote, and I'm not the type of person who just works at home. So I have to be at a coffee shop. I have to be up and running. I have to be dressed up, and then I'll go. And I started going to all these random coffee shops. I would just search up coffee shops near me or 30 minutes away from me and just start going from one to the next, to the third, to the fourth. And what I saw is it's just coffee. It's just a regular place you sit and you chill and you work and no one looks at you and whatever. But there's a specific area, Bridgeview, which is a lot of Arab coffee shops, and I absolutely love it. I will make the 30-minute drive, 45 with traffic, to go there because it's an experience. It's a lot of the music that I listen to on a regular, so I don't even if I forgot my headphones, no big deal. It's very lively. It's a little bit louder than regular coffee shops, which works perfect. I can FaceTime my parents right there. So it's just that experience, that environment that you're in. And of course, the product matters, right? Like you can't just say that, oh, you can have like a horrible product, no one wants to use it, but if you create an experience, people will buy it. Sure, true, but not all the time. So the coffee's great too, But it's that overall experience, it's that vibe that I typically yearn for. And I feel like that's very true for a lot of products. And that's how you differentiate yourself in a market, which I think is essential. Because a lot of times people will say, oh, well, you have so much of this. Why do you need more? You have so many of this. Why do you need more? It's because there's that little minuscule difference that makes a big difference for a consumer, and then you just have to buy that product. It's about, again, the experience. It's not just, if you're talking about, let's say, makeup, might as well. If you're talking about that, it's not just something that, okay, I'll take it out of the bottle, put it on my face, I'll blend it in, okay, good to go. It's about that entire experience. What does the packaging look like? Do I like opening, closing the bottle? Can I travel with it? You know, is it cute? Because that matters. Like first thing in the morning, I'm really excited. Like my little blush, it's like travel size. It's cute little, it looks like a bubble, and I love using it. So it's about that entire experience from start to finish for the consumer. And that's something that you need to definitely work on your product development and have like a kick-ass, okay,
You're good.
have like a great product, but at the same time, is that it?
Yeah.
Because today I feel like the world is very fast paced,
Yeah.
especially with social media. I'm scrolling through easily, if I have an 8 hour screen time, easily like 10,000 reels a day,
Yeah.
if I'm like not watching all of them.
It's your
So
job.
it's my job. Yeah, exactly. Actually, I do it for the work. It's not for me. But if I'm doing that, then I'm getting constant information. I'm seeing new things all the time. It's at some point you get saturated and you're like, okay, well, what now? What's new? What's cool? And that's what's cool. It's making sure that it's an entire experience from start to finish and an experience that lasts. So I would want to keep doing it over and over and over again. I'd want to use the product.
You were talking about coffee, and I went to a coffee shop the other day. I was meeting somebody, and one of the guys that I work with at the university was
Yeah.
walking in at the same time, and I'm talking to him. His name is Dave, and he is an avid coffee drinker. And,
Right.
like he'll bring his own coffee mug into
Oh, that's
the
crazy.
coffee place, right? So I walk in with him, and you're too young to understand, but there used to be a show out there called Cheers, where when Norm walked into the bar in Cheers,
Right.
they would all yell Norm. He walks into this coffee shop and they all yell Dave. And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, oh my goodness, Dave, like what is going on here? And he
Yeah.
goes, well, I'm a regular. And, we talk a lot about kind of your best customers, the 80-20 principle and all this stuff. But Dave has his own drink there that's not on the menu, but it's in their system because he goes there so often. He walks in, they're like, Dave, and they're like, you're regular, the Dave? And he goes, yep. And I went, what just happened here,
Yeah.
right? And I was laughing because I experienced that, and I'm not like, I normally just drink black coffee. I'm
Right.
boring. But then I was sitting there and I'm going, all right, well, maybe I need to be the Matt here, right? Like, what do we
Yes.
have here? So I started looking down the menu at that point, and I got something that I wouldn't normally get because I thought, well, if they're doing this for Dave, this is obviously a pretty good company that is making really good coffee. So maybe I should break out a little bit. So
Yeah.
something that probably would have been, a $2-3 spend is now a $7-8-9
Yeah.
spend because of the environment and because of what I just
Yeah.
experienced. And it's funny because I went home later on, I'm like, they have a Dave. I don't know what it is, but there's a Dave
There's a
coffee
Dave.
order at this place. And it was just funny because I didn't expect it. I walked into it, and as a human being, we want to be in the know of what's going on. So I'm
Yes.
sitting there, I'm like, what is this? What's going on, right? So, I know we're talking about coffee a lot here, but experiences are key to all kinds of different things. So, we've got some examples here, but from a fitness point of view, I've got one
Yeah.
client that I've been working with recently that's a gym. And gyms, they've got all these people out there, whether it's Hormozy
Yeah.
or all, right, like talking about gym marketing and all that. And that's great. They really know their stuff. But when it comes to a gym, there's various different ways that you can look at it. So when my son comes home from college, he's always, I want to go to the gym, and he's always complaining about this gym and that gym, and it doesn't do this. And it's the environment, the experience that he's getting with it. He's just like, oh, these high school kids, they just sit on these machines.
Yeah.
But then, like, this gym owner that I work with is literally building these challenges and all of these different experiences with what they're doing, and people are buying into it because they've almost like gamified what they're doing. So can you talk a little bit just in your thoughts, but just in a gym you can gamify people. I don't know if you want to put people against each other or supporting each other.
Yeah.
Right? There's multiple ways to do it, but the experience of going to that where either you're competing against somebody if you're the sport, right? Or you're looking for the support from others. I mean, just in that, the experience right there, small businesses should be looking at that.
See, I think it's two things that are very key, and sometimes they go hand in hand, sometimes they don't. One is making your customer feel special. So if you're a part of the VIP list, or, if this is like a limited time product or whatever, it's making your customer feel special about using that product. So not only is it that the internal happiness that they would feel from those purchases, but it's also you are one of the people who has this. You are one of the people who uses this. And the second part of it is the support, the community, more like feeling like years I've spent my life nobody gets me. Like you would think that it's like that typical rom-com teenager thing, but it's not. It's a regular adult life thing where it's like nobody gets me. And then you finally start buying a product, and then you start looking it up on socials, and then you start, tagging people and commenting on posts, and you starting interacting with the brand, and you're like, these people finally get me. This is my community. I finally feel like they understand what I'm saying. And it's a lot of times like people will make fun of, fandoms and, stuff like that. It's like, this is a cult, but it's that part of feeling like you belong. And like you said with the gym class too, I feel like that's a great model and a great example, because I used to do one at Purdue, actually. There's I've forgotten the name, but there's this one class that they do. It's typically all older people. So it was women, I want to say like 50 to 70 range in there. And I went there as a first timer. I typically do like 30 minutes of cardio, call it a day. And when they're lifting 10 pounds and I'm sitting there with my little two, there's that competition, right? Where it's like, oh my God, I have to do a little bit better.
Right.
So there's that. But also within them, they continuously came, and it was a free class, but you can use that model for any business, right? Where it was a free class, but they used to come because they get to see their friends every week. Yeah. They get to see their friends twice a week, every single week. It's that community. And with the coffee shop example, a lot of people now, a lot of these businesses, they have side hustles almost within their main hustle, which is live music one night, karaoke one night. A lot of bars do that, right? Karaoke, things like that. And I don't know if I'm ever going to see this dude again, but I know he comes every Friday for the karaoke, and I think he's a pretty chill guy. So I'll go every single week just to see this person, right? And you start building community like that. Like a lot of times I think like you'll see this on social media where girls are like, oh, if I'm at the bar or the club, somebody will compliment my makeup in the bathroom. That is part of the experience. That is part of the experience where you go and this random person you've never met who probably won't remember you next morning will be like, your makeup looks great, And that is what makes you want to go to these environments and these places. It's the entire experience I feel like I work in hospitality now, and with our restaurants, it's not just, here's some great Italian food. Celebrity chef Fabio made it. There you go. Yeah. It's about the overall experience. Every single brand that we manage has an identity, and we target that specific identity. When you go to this specific location, you feel like you're a part of it, and you'll see so many people. And you're not interacting with people at a restaurant the way you would at different establishments, but it's that feeling like, hey, this is really cool. I feel like this is new. I feel a little bit special doing this, and I'd want to maybe like let's just do it once a week, you know? A lot of times I'll be going to different places and just doing something that's a little bit out of the ordinary for me, whether that's a dance fitness class, whether that's just like a different coffee house or whatever. I'm like, this was really fun. And then I'll be like, okay, you know what? I want to make it a habit. Once a week, I want to do this. And I think as small business owners, that's what the goal should be, that repetitiveness and become making people your regulars, you know? So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the experience is key. I was laughing. I was thinking about karaoke gyms when you were talking about that, but that would be interesting. But, we used to own a small home decor business, and many times we got to know our customers.
Right.
Many times we would do things out of the ordinary where they could take furniture home without fully purchasing it to see how it looked. We would do during, November, December, we would have an ornament decorating contest, and we would
Okay.
highlight those in
Yeah.
the store, and people would vote for them, and all this other, and then we auctioned them off for charity at the end. So
Right.
like, creating those experiences that aren't necessarily just you selling products or services are
Yes.
key. So, um, again, we've talked about coffee, we've talked about gyms, we've talked about fitness. I mean, we've got things that have taken off in recent years, such as escape rooms and all those types of
Yes.
things. Girls' night out kind of
Mm-hmm.
events at whether it's a salon or a restaurant or
Yeah.
something along those lines. So I think that's really interesting. And I think we can apply that to any business that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have to understand your customer first. And I
Yes.
think people don't necessarily take the time to understand the passions, the pain points
Yeah.
of their customers, because if you do, you'll understand them more and you'll understand the
Yes.
opportunities more. So you probably see this again. You're on social more than I am, but you see the passions, the pain points that are coming from the customers that you're reaching out to.
Yeah.
So from a hospitality standpoint and the restaurants, again, yes, we all need to eat to
Yes.
survive, but I don't necessarily have to go to one of your restaurants to eat. I'm going for maybe the chef. It may be
Yes.
the type of food. It may
Mm-hmm.
be the elegance. It may be the environment.
Yes.
It may be something special that's going on. It may be the fact that the chef actually comes out and greets you. I mean,
Yes.
I do that at home. I greet my family, but they don't give me the same respect for
Right.
cooking. But it's that experience, and it doesn't matter what business you're in, because experience and the way you treat people is always going to set you apart from others.
100%. 100%.
So from a marketing standpoint, look at your customers and say, okay, what's important to them?
Yeah.
What is everybody else doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's one thing that I can do? So again,
Yeah.
I had my car fixed. I had some issue with it the other day, and I was talking to the guy that runs the place.
Right.
And he asked me, he goes, "Are you in sales?" And I said, "Well, I'm in marketing." And it was funny because I didn't really share anything with him, but I guess I gave the vibe.
Right.
And we were talking about it, and he was telling me about how they've had two salespeople through the years.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one that they had was this lady that would go around, and every place that she went to talk
Yeah.
to, I won't like give the details of everything, but everyone that she went to go talk to, she knew their children, she knew the
Yeah.
histories,
Yeah.
she knew everything about the people that she was talking with. And he goes, it was amazing because she would walk into these places, and instead of just saying it's Mary or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they would come and give her a hug and all this other stuff. So it was
Yeah.
really interesting. He goes, then we got another person, and now when they walk in, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
They're not opening, like they're not welcoming. It's the two individuals have created entirely different environments.
Yeah.
And he says it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting because I personally am sitting here. Can you tell me who the other lady was so I can hire her? But I was explaining to him. I said she probably has a CRM, some kind of note taking, whatever it is. But she's taken that next level to create that experience
Yeah.
with those customers. And when we had the home decor, or
Mm-hmm.
when I deal with my clients, the first thing I'm asking them is, how's this, how's that?
Yeah.
I'm not walking in there and talking business right away.
Yes.
We are human beings and we need to create that experience. But and I do a lot of things for free for my clients because I just look at them and go, it'll take me 2 seconds. Let me do this for you.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So, from your perspective, what are some things that you're seeing? I mean, obviously you're in hospitality. What are some of the things that the restaurants are doing to kind of
Mm-hmm.
make people feel special in that regard?
I feel like with restaurants, one of the most important things is service.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, I feel like when it's a bigger company, you might not necessarily think that as a very important thing. You're focused on other things like true marketing, or like the chef has to be phenomenal, which is important. I'm not saying it's not, but it's the service. It's the fact that the server's really nice, and you leave a tip and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna come back next time 100%. It's like round the clock right here.
Hmm.
A lot of students go there, and I used to go there when I was studying, and I was like just done, burnt out, really late. 12 to 2 was my time when I would go. And there was this one lady who used to work there, and she had so much energy every time I went. Every single time. And she would always say hi to me. She would always ask me, like, oh, are you in school? The first couple times, she's like, oh, what do you study? And that made me want to go back because half the time I went back for the conversation. And I would always end up falling asleep in the booth. Always. So she would always be like, honey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. And it's that building those relationships. But I think something that's really important is that personability and that connection, like you said, like everyone's going and giving her a hug, and like, how are the kids and all that. People underestimate how much social media can do that for you.
Right.
Because yes, it's behind a screen, but if you start posting often enough, people know just about everything you want to tell them, which is a lot
Yeah.
in a lot of cases. And when you're making those videos and those reels, like it's like a 30-second thing. I can personally say this. I am invested in so many people's lives right now, and they don't even know I exist,
Yeah.
right? Like, I am so invested. Like, oh my God, there was a flood in the storage room for this jewelry owner. How is she doing? And this other, like, entrepreneur, her dog got sick, and I'm not even a dog person. I'm not even like an animal person like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like so invested, and it's those connections and that community and those relationships that you build on social media that have such a lasting impact. And it really helps your business, but it also, I feel like business owners are people too.
Yeah.
A lot of times people be like, oh, they just care about the money. Sure, that's a part of it. But business owners are people too. And they genuinely, a lot of times, care about their customers.
Yeah.
Like Dave,
Yeah.
the regular customers, they care about them. And they also crave to have that community. Because a lot of times, small business owners, the entrepreneurs, when they're building something, it's not like, I'm going to be a millionaire by 30. That might be a part of it, but their primary thing is, I really needed this. And I know, like, I met another single mom, or, I met another person in the target demographic, and they said they needed it, and this other person said they needed it. So I'm going to go ahead, take the initiative. I'm going to build this brand and then make sure that all these people, they're fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times when they come onto social media, there's so much happening
Yeah.
with trends, and everyone's dancing on the same music for like 2 weeks, and then it's the next song, and
Yeah.
then it's the next song. But once you move away from the trends for just a second and you start sharing your story,
Mm-hmm.
like I was sitting in my mom's basement and like bawling my eyes out for 3 months straight, and then I was like, wait, this product can fix my life. When you start doing things like that, when you share your personal story, which in a lot of times can be scary because
Mm-hmm.
not everyone is an extrovert and they'll come on and be like, hey guys, this is my life. But when you start giving people little pieces of that, they feel like they're relating to you and not just the product. I'm buying this because Shelly said so, not
Yeah.
just because, oh, this is like cool.
Yep.
And I think that's very important.
So I think you mentioned the word community,
Yes.
and I think community is huge. I think where we are today, we've talked about this on the podcast many times, is that at one point the internet blew up and social media has blown up and everyone wanted to be everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
And the market got too big,
Yes.
especially if you're a local or a regional company. And what we're seeing is that pullback, but in the same sense, even if you are a large company that is selling across the entire United States or the world, the community side of it is where it's at.
Yes.
Because what we're doing is you were talking about finding people that are just like you. And that was kind of why we started this podcast, is the fact that the small business owner didn't have a voice out there or the training methods to learn marketing. They're just kind of winging it. And that's why we said we were going to start this podcast, right? So like we're building a community here. A university has a community, right? Like your restaurants have communities within those individual restaurants, if not from a larger family of, umbrella of restaurants. So there's all these communities, but the communities have their own likes, dislikes, pain points, needs, right? All these different things. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we need to understand is when you build a community, you're going to find your like-minded individuals that will rally behind you and become part of your brand.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to share with them?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're all good.
No, I think that's just like one of the key points is that you build community, and then also what comes with that community, because not everybody within the community always likes each other.
Right.
But once you start doing that, once you start making give people that feeling of you're at home when you're far away from home or whether you're sitting at your house, it makes all the difference.
Yeah. Well, that is episode 74. Ozzy, I want to say thank you for being with us these last two episodes. You are welcome back anytime.
Whenever you need me. This was such a fun experience. And, of course, we love Professor Hansen. So.
Well, thank you for coming on. Until next time, we will see you guys later.
Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. So skip replacing every carb with cauliflower and indulge in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner time favorites while still hitting your goals. From breakfast bagels and meal prepped enchiladas to mouth-watering burgers and cheesy noodles. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's fall25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.